Welcome everybody. We are now in the production phase of our trying to get crazy video project. At this point you should already have your topic picked out. You should have your script written and your main character picked out as well. This is what the Crazy Talk screen is going to look like when you open it up. What you want to do is move your cursor to the upper right hand corner and click on the default button. So we're going to double click on that. And now we have our template. We want to go ahead and pick a model. That's going to be our character that we're going to use. So I'm going to click on the model. So it's going to bring up our screen. And so this is basically our palette. If we're an artist, this is where we're going to be doing our work. On the right hand side, there's a variety of models already there for you to pick out. These are the ones that come with Crazy Talk. But for you, we're going to, since you went ahead and chose a character, you should already have that picture, whether you got it off of Google Images or somewhere else. I'm going to go ahead and grab mine. I chose SpongeBob because my topic is going to be on buoyancy, on how things sink and float in water. You see up here I have two different types of pictures. This one right here, the one without a green background, this is a SpongeBob in the PNG format. The reason I choose PNG, which means portable network graphic, is because the background is completely empty. And I can make that background any color. So later on when we start using iMovie, maybe I want to put a moving background or maybe a different background for different scenarios I'm going to use SpongeBob to talk with. So using a green screen in the back will allow me to do that. You're going to have to decide whether you want to go with that aspect in iMovie or not. If you just want SpongeBob by himself, go ahead and just choose the regular one with a white background. But if you do want to try to use the green screen aspect when we work with iMovie in the second tutorial, well then I would recommend you use your favorite picture editing software, whether it's Photoshop or even Paint in Microsoft, or anything else you can find on your Mac. Just select a green background, click it, and it'll fill up the entire back. For the purposes of this instruction, I'm going to go ahead and choose the one I already made with a green background so we can continue with the green background when we work with our iMovie. So I open it up and you see it's going to show us our picture. What this is doing is it's asking, would you like to frame your picture? Is the picture that's up on the board okay for us to use? And just for our purposes, I'm going to show you, click on the crop button, and we're just going to crop that we want, yes, we want this entire picture to be used. So I'm going to click the check mark, and next. And now what has popped up here is called our face fitting. Now this is how we're going to get our eyes and our mouths to be recognized by the program. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, which is going to be this plus button. And we're going to zoom in on the face. And I'm going to move my cursors and I'm going to get my number one right to the middle of the eye, right off to the side. I'm going to get my number two right off to the middle on the side of the right eye. I'm going to go down. My number three, I'm going to put to the very edge of the top of the mouth. And then my number four, where is it hiding? There it is, up to the top of this mouth. Once that's done, you can decide to zoom in some more if you wish. If you want to just choose this plus one, you'll just zoom in a little bit more, just to guarantee that you have it in the spot you perfectly want it at. This is another reason why you might want a higher resolution photograph when you are choosing your photographs off of Google Image. You just want to make sure the pixels are big enough so when you zoom in it doesn't get distorted. Looks like my dots are in perfect place. I'm going to hit process. And this is for eyes and nose orientation. Where is your picture going to be looking? And if you look off to the side, we have different shapes. Notice this is a block face, and SpongeBob is pretty blocky, but he also has a long nose. So I'm going to choose the long nose. And it says, well, how long is the nose? What's the strength of the nose? I'm going to go ahead and go about 1.6. Completely up to you. This portion is kind of trial and error. I'm going to move my cursor up to this blue crosshairs, and the middle stands for the nose. If I push it all the way to the side, you can see the nose is pointing all the way to the side. But SpongeBob isn't pointing all the way to the side. He's looking kind of forward, and the nose is pointed a little bit up. So that's going to be my orientation. Here you can hit preview to see, and the orientation looks pretty good. So now I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see some different eyes up here. The first eye is if you're pretty happy with what you did with just the 4 dots. And here you have a second eye that gives you a little bit more area of articulation. And then the third eye gives you even more areas of articulation. For our case, we're going to go ahead and use the third eye because it helps us out quite a bit. What we're going to do is zoom in on SpongeBob's face, and we're going to stretch these dots out. These inner dots right here, where you see that blue highlighted, that's going to be around the face. And these outer dots, which you see me highlighted, that's going to be around the hair. Since SpongeBob doesn't really have hair, those dots are going to be kind of next to each other. So I'm going to move these dots to start structuring SpongeBob's face. As you can see, we went ahead and surrounded SpongeBob's face with the inner and outer head points. Next, we're going to go ahead and move down the smile, or the mouth. I'm going to take this line and bring it up towards the top. This line, bring it up towards the top. This line, I'm going to bring it all the way down, and this right here. These follow along that inner line of the mouth. Now, I do want you to notice that he does have some buck teeth, so that might get in the way of our actual mouth movement, but we'll go ahead and take a look at that when we get there. These 3 dots are for the nose. The top one goes on that tip, this one goes at the end, and this one comes on the inside. He doesn't have any eyebrows. He has eyelashes but no eyebrows, so I'm just going to bring these eyebrows up towards the top, where you think, a sponge would have eyeballs. So we'll move it there, just like that. Now, one of the most important parts to this is getting the eyes perfect. We're going to move these towards the center. And I'm going to start moving. The yellow ones are for the upper eyelids. And the bottom ones are going to come down here. Now, remember, this is just your introduction. You're going to have to actually work with this yourself a little bit more to get these perfect. But for our purposes for the class, I just wanted to introduce you to this program. And then on your own later on during the year, when we work with this a little bit more, you can actually become better and better and better at it. But for all intents and purposes right now, we're just going to, it's kind of like a rough sketch of the outline of the face. Notice the eyes are a little close together. The nose does get in the way, and so does the cheek, so that is going to pull us off a little bit. If you wanted to, you can zoom in and try to get the articulation of these points a little bit closer to the edges. Looks like we did a pretty good job there. We can try it one more time. Once again, like I said, this is why you want more of a higher resolution image. Bring this in just a tad. Bring this up just a tad. And there we go. Alright, now that we have all the articulations put into place, we can come down over here to these icons. I'm going to go ahead and click on the eyes, and it brings up the eyes settings. Now you can go to a variety of different things. If I click on this eye, notice my SpongeBob eyes pop like that. If I click on this one, my SpongeBob eyes pop like that. Notice we do see a little portion down here that's not an eye that we want. So we can go ahead and fix that later. If you go down to modify or custom, Let's go to modify. There we go. We can make the eyes smaller, and it looks more like SpongeBob. We can go to eye magic and take away the eyelashes because he already has some. Let's take away the eye shadow. And now it looks closer to be like what a SpongeBob would be. And if we click on the eye motion preview, it'll make it move around back and forth, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that. Those are my eyes. If you want, you can go back to the articulation button and figure out why that happened. You can just bring this down a little bit more and bring these out a little bit more. Okay, and then we go back to our eyes, and well, it's still like that. We can go ahead and fix that later. We'll go ahead and click OK. Now you can check out the mouth. Now the mouth opens up. Now notice the teeth are going to be on the bottom. A trial and error once again. So you don't really have to give him any teeth. But if you want his mouth to open wide, you can look at the different colors and contrasts we can give for the mouth through this. He doesn't really need any lips or anything like that. But this is going to be our introduction to that. And then head movement. Okay, does he want to be angry? Is he happy? Let's give him a happy look. Let's see, peaceful, and preview. And now he has a very peaceful movement going around. He can blink his eyes, he can open his mouth, and that is your introduction to the first part of the production phase of creating a moving image off of a two-dimensional picture. Alright, we'll see you in production number 2.